Hey everybody, Lucas here, and I just wanted to share with you a quick how-to tutorial to show you how to go out to the Commons and pull down an online course template that I've put together. Basically, it's a redo of some of the template work that was already there, but it's got a couple different formats that I think will help you. So let's jump in. I'll show you how to do that and then show you some of the features that are a part of it. Okay, so here I am in my Canvas course. I'm at my dashboard. And if you haven't already, you'll want to start a new course, give it a name. I'm just going to call it My Course. Create that. And then from there, I'm going to go and pull in from the Commons this template to be able to use. So I'll click on Import from Commons. And this new course template should show up as the first template available to you now because I just uploaded it. And here it is, online course template. So I'll click on that. And then I'm going to click import and download. And it's going to ask me which of my courses that I want to import that into. And so I would just choose the course that I've created, the new one, and import that content in. Now, I'm not actually going to go through that because I've already done this. So I'm going to jump back over to my dashboard and give you a tour of what's inside this template and how you can use it as you're building your online course. So here it is. And again, it starts out with a page as a home page. That's typical page. I would, if it were me, I would come in and customize these graphics. These are sort of generic graphics that I put together in this template, but you could use a tool like Canva and customize the ones that are there. And again, to do that, I would just click Edit, let the rich content editor load up. It's being a little slow today. All right, and so like this welcome banner, I would click on it. If I wanted to resize it again, I can grab these click on it and grab these corners and resize. But I would delete that because that's pretty generic for me anyway. So I would just delete that, and I would use Canva to create a new banner. Again, recommendations on banner size. I wouldn't go much wider than 1,000 wide, but however tall you make it is up to you. But 1,000 would be my maximum width. And likewise, any buttons or graphics that I would have on my front page, I would create custom ones of those as well. But you're welcome to use these. They're already built in and they work just fine. And then, of course, you'll want to customize this content here, anything that you want students to see on the front page when they log in. And once you've got it like you like it, just click save, and there that your homepage is ready to go. I suspect you'll be coming back and editing this periodically as you update your course and the content inside it to make it your own. So let's go into modules because this is where all of the magic happens. So I'm going to explain a couple things that are here to you and make sure that you get a chance to look at these and see how you can use it. So this first module is called the teacher module. You don't want to publish this. It's not going to hurt if you do, but you don't want to publish this because this is just resources for teachers. Think of these as the teacher notes for the course. So there's some stuff in here that talks about the template and how to customize it. A link to the Canvas resources for educators Canvas, where it tells you how to find free, copyright-free images to use in your course, and then, of course, a link to Canva to go create your own custom ones. Some resources, training resources from Canvas are built in here if you need to go back and review. And then some specific resources related to Surry County Schools. For example, and I'm going to go through this, but I'll share this with you as well. Some tips for designing an accessible, future-proof online course. So a couple things here that as you're developing your course, you're going to want to do is avoid using dates. And what I mean by that is don't say this Friday or September 22nd or fall 21 or things like that. You want to avoid using that because anytime you do that, that's something that would have to be edited anytime somebody uses, yourself included, uses this course in the future. So avoid using dates. Keep things sort of generic, so to speak. So, for example, week 1, week 2, week 3, and then it doesn't matter when those calendar dates fall. Okay, things like that. Just along those lines, I would also avoid using things that might be a little dated in the future. For example, you probably wouldn't want to say like, hey, while you're working on this, why don't you vibe for a little while, or using phrases like yeet. Let's yeet that content right out of here. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever it is, things that the kids these days say that may not be so cool in a month from now. I mean, it changes rapidly, right? So just you may want to avoid using some of that. Um, I would also recommend avoiding using personal references. So, for example, if I were recording a video that I was going to be putting into my course, I may not want to start it out and say, "Hey, class, this is Mr. G with another science quick tip on parts of the cell," or something like that. I may just want to record a video that says, "Hey, class, here's another quick lesson," etc. And that way, that if the course is being used by someone else, they don't necessarily have to recreate that content because it doesn't have personal references to you as a teacher by name. Likewise, you probably want to avoid using local references because this course could be used by folks who are not necessarily living in our area or not at your school. And so talking about things related specifically to, say, Surrey Central High School or East Surrey High School or whatever might be something that you would want to avoid. I would recommend it. Now, the last one here is kind of conditional. Wherever possible, you're encouraged to use free to access resources. If you are using a district textbook, for example, our middle school folks would be using district textbook resources, etc. That's great. However, that completely limits our ability to share that content outside of our district because another district that may be using it wouldn't have access to those resources. Our high school folks, however, I highly encourage you for text resources to use things like CK12. CK12 is fantastic. It's completely free and free to use, and it's completely customizable. So take a look at their content. I've even provided a link for you here. Likewise, use resources like YouTube videos, etc. Please be sure to screen those first before integrating them into your course. I know occasionally I'll get parent complaints because someone used oh gosh, what's the history? There's this great history series on YouTube. It's fantastic. I love it, but it gets a little edgy for classroom use sometimes. And so that kind of thing, you just want to screen it, make sure that it's appropriate. And then of course, don't use copyrighted material inside your course because one, you're violating copyright and that person's intellectual property, and likewise, it prevents us from being able to share it and can create some issues for us as well. Likewise, and I don't have it on this list right now, also want to encourage you to you need to be using the district pacing guides for your course. So use that when developing your course so that things will be paced out so you'll be your students will be ready for benchmarks and things like that. So I'm going to jump back into the modules and show you a few more things that are here. Of course, there's a link to that course evaluation checklist. That's how we will go through and provide feedback for the courses that you develop. Another link back out to Canvas resources for educators. And then eventually when we get these courses created, you deserve credit because this is hard work. And I think teachers don't take enough credit for the things they create sometimes. And so we will have an About the Designer page. And at some point, I'll just hit you up for a brief 1-paragraph bio, a little background information, maybe a headshot. And then we'll also include in this page the Creative Commons licensing that we put in it before we share it out. But I'll take care of that stuff for you later on. Again, as I have shown you in the past, we have this module that is the student and parent resources. It's completely up to you whether you leave it in there, but I would leave it in there because it's one of those teach a man to fish kind of things where they can go in and find their own help and get access to resource videos and how-tos and stuff just by checking in this section here. And that might be something you want to link to from the homepage. Okay, Let me scroll a bit. The welcome to class module is here. Anything that would just be generic welcome kind of information would go here. This welcome template that is here is pretty much set up like a syllabus. So if you have a syllabus already, you could just swap it in for this, or you can customize this one and use it as this template as your syllabus for this course. That's perfectly fine. All right, so let me back up and show you some other things that are here. The About Your Teacher page, for the one that you're creating, you will leave this blank so that whatever teacher is using this can just customize it for themselves, put their headshot in there, their bio, etc. Class resources is an optional page. It's there if there are resources that you want to share about your class. This gives you an idea what that might look like. Again, it's just a template to help you get started. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. All right, so then we have the modules. And I have these modules set up. There's two different formats, and you can use either one or neither. It's up to you. But certainly you would want to use some of the resources out of these modules. So let me show you both in general, and then I'll show you some of the features. So if you want to take a unit-based approach to this, here is an example of a learning module set up for maybe like a unit now, or a series of lessons. Now you'll notice that they're broken up into the 5 E's. You don't have to use that if you don't want to. It's perfectly fine. If you don't like this engage, explore, explain thing, it does connect to our district framework, but you don't have to use that if you don't want to. You can either do one of two things. You can come in here and remove it. You can edit it and change that label if you want to. It's perfectly fine. These are just here to break up visually a module into different sections. And you can add those by clicking the plus at the top of a module, and they're called text headers. So you may have a text header where you want to put, I don't know, you may want to break it up into different categories. Whatever you want to call those categories to break up the flow of a module, you can do that. That's fine. So right now they're just in as the 5 E's in this module. So let me show you a couple things that are inside these modules. There's some page templates that you can utilize and recycle. So right here, this first one would be like something I would include at the beginning of a module. It's an overview, a to-do list. And explains, it's got graphics built in. You're free to use. You're free to take those out and put your own in if you want to. It's perfectly fine. This one shows an overview of what students can expect in this module. This is what we're going to be learning about. Here is this, in this unit, we're going to be exploring To Kill a Mockingbird. In this unit, we're going to be exploring environmental impact of pollution or whatever. You would fill that in here, just a brief overview of that if you choose to do that. Likewise, learning targets. So we have a graphic for your learning targets. You can fill out your learning targets for that unit here. If there's more than 3, just keep going. This to-do list piece is also optional, but it is a good kind of overview for students. Like in this unit or in this module, you're going to do the following things. And it just gives them everything that they can expect coming up in a nice list. Again, it's there for you to use if you want it. If you don't like it, when you go in and edit this, just delete it. It's perfectly fine. All right, so I'm going to jump back and show you some more inside this module. Okay, so there are example discussion forums for students here. Again, this is just to give you sort of something to start with. It's got a graphic. Hey, let's discuss. And then you could flesh this out about what you want them to discuss and what you're expecting of them as they have their discussion. And so this is here for you to use as a model, as an example. Certainly feel free to edit as you wish. All right, so let's go back and look at some of the other things that are here. Now, if you're doing teacher-directed instruction or content, you might use something like this module that's called presentation. So if I pulled that up here, There's a section for introduction where you might set them up like this is what we're going to be learning about here. There's a section for them if you have a recorded video or there's a video that you have on YouTube that you think they need to watch. It's here. This may also be where you decide to put a presentation. So if you have embedded a Google Slides presentation, for example, that would go here. All right. If you want to use something like this, the big ideas, this just helps them. It's sort of a summary. You may want to use this. You may want to swap this out with vocabulary. Like here's the important vocabulary for this particular set of information. And then again, another optional thing here, additional resources. If a student wants to go and learn more about this or hey, explore this website or whatever, that's what that's there for. Again, if you don't use it, delete it. It's fine. Not a problem. Let's go back and look at some of the other stuff that's here. All right, so again, more examples of just discussions, assignments, assessments are here. And again, I just put this in as a placeholder. There's nothing really here, but you can create your assessments and drop them in. This one really doesn't have anything in it other than it's a graded quiz and there's no time limit, etc. But you, of course, will want to adjust that for your course. And let's see, oops, I scrolled too far. And then, of course, this is completely up to you if you want to do this, but this is sort of a page that shows an example of, hey, we've reached the end of this unit. Let's wrap it up and talk about what's coming next and what students can expect coming up next. Again, this is an optional thing. If you want to put it in there, you certainly could. This will help you with differentiation and personalized learning. So if you have gifted students or students who may be struggling, you might put enrichment resources in here and remediation resources. And then just this section here is just for, hey, here's what's coming next. Something to be thinking about as we get ready for the next unit or the next week's activities. You don't have to use that either, but it's there just as an example for you. Okay, so I'm going to jump back into modules and then show you the same thing, but here it's set up as a weekly module. Okay, so here I've set the same, it's the exact same module, but I've customized it here in this instance for a week by week thing. So my text headers are set up as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And this is what students would do on Monday. This is what they would do on Tuesday, etc. And then it's the same activities inside, but again, just customized for week one, etc. Now, that's pretty much it. So if these modules include everything that we would expect to be inside our courses, the learning targets, the examples of activities and interaction and content, etc., that we would want to see inside the online courses that we have. Now, what I would do if I were you and I were building one of these courses from the ground up, I would just kind of decide, what format do I want to use? I'm going to use a module, just this sort of unit-based approach, or I'm going to use modules that are more of a week-based approach. And I would, if I wasn't going to use this one, I'd just remove it. Just get rid of it, axe it, take it out. And I would say, okay, I'm going to use the weekly format. And if I like this, that's fine. If I want to move these things around, that's fine. But what I would do first is I would come in and I'd make a copy of this before I started editing. So I will click these three dots at the top of the module, and I'm going to click copy to. And now, of course, I have access to all the courses in the district, so this doesn't make a lot of sense, but I would choose my course from this drop-down list. You should only have a few options, and copy that module back in, right? And so then I have a clean copy, and I would then start editing from there, all right? You could do that same kind of thing with these individual resources. So if I want this week one overview and to-do list, here I can just duplicate it. I'm not sure why they don't have duplicate as an option for modules, I might put that in as a feature request, or maybe I'm missing something. But you can do the duplicate thing here, or you can do copy to. Likewise, you can move these things to other courses. You can move the entire module to a completely different course that you have, or you can copy and duplicate it inside the existing course. Either way is fine. But that's what I would do. And then again, as I've said before, create one of these, kind of think about what it's like from the student perspective, what they're going to be seeing, how it's going to work. And if you think that's going to work, rinse and repeat. Just do it again for your next set of content that you're going to do. And that's how you'll get started, and that's how you can use this template to really meet all the requirements that you would have for building these online courses. So I hope that helps you. Some of you are probably well on your way with this anyway, but just in case, and you need something to help you get started, here it is. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Don't hesitate. Some of you are already shooting me awesome questions, and you're challenging me to find out new things about Canvas every day. And I love that. And so keep those questions coming, and we will support you all along the way. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you for your time. I appreciate all of you and the work that you're doing, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.